Hamish, great to see you again. Thank you so much for joining me for a quick interview today. Really excited to sit down, ask you a couple of quick questions about the new venue. It's next door as well, so I'm interested to know why you've opened a venue next door. Tell me about the concept. There's potentially a lot to cover here, so I'd love to know just a couple of dot points from you just to share with listeners.
Torino is right next door. We're shop 3 basement here in Beneath Driver Lane, and Torino is shop 2. Beneath Driver Lane has just had its 6th birthday, so for around the last 6 years, I've been walking down this laneway, and previously the site was a beer bar called Penny Blue. Always had a bit of an eye on the space because it was, I really like the location next door. I think there's a beautiful romanticism about walking down this laneway. It's quite European. It's a very old laneway with the apartment buildings above us. There's quite a romance there, and then the opportunity came to do it.
I've been inside the new venue, Torino. It's European, like you described the laneway is. Tell me about some unique features or experiences that this venue has. There's something in particular that I know stands out immediately. Tell me about a little bit more about this and about some other things that maybe we don't know.
The whole idea was Torino is a bit light and Beneath Driver Lane is dark. So it's like the light and the dark. I wanted them to complement each other. A lot of people asked, are you going to do an extension of Beneath Driver Lane upstairs? And I don't think it's possible to replicate an underground basement whiskey blues den on the street level. Torino was the birthplace of the aperitivo tradition, or Turin in Italy, so that's where the name came from. And I guess the whole concept was focused around the aperitivo tradition. So everyone comes back from Europe, from Spain and Italy, Portugal, and everyone loves this idea of meeting in the afternoon, having a little snack, having a spritz, having a Negroni. Leading into your question about something unique, we actually have an Italian water feature behind the bar, which has been all rewired for health and safety, of course, but the signature spritz and the signature Negroni comes from the mouth of this water feature, which looks absolutely fantastic. I did a small research trip in March to Italy. I went from Rome to Lake Como, Turin, of course, Parma, Bologna, and then down the south to Calabria and Sicily to see the way that the aperitivo is served and how the vibe is and everything else. So we've actually picked up quite a few specific dishes from different locations. On the complimentary platter, you have the Torelli, which is like a cross between a grissini stick and a pretzel, I guess. But it's very famous in the north. And then we've got this amazing, it's almost like an oil burner for heating the nduja. So nduja is basically it's Italian chorizo, but it's done as a paste as opposed to a sausage. So yeah, there's a lovely bit of theatre there when you're sitting around and enjoying your drinks and enjoying your Italian wine list, and we've got beer Moretti on tap, and so we really try to give that escapism. And I guess there's the similar thing to what I tried to do down here, is to make it feel separate from the world, above or outside. So upstairs we've got an all-Italian soundtrack, so it's all 60s and 70s disco and funk and soul, and it's got a unique feel. It really does.
You mentioned it being very much about the light and dark. Tell me about the colour palette or design differences between the two venues.
Upstairs, the primary colours, we have green. Green is a very calming and soothing colour. We've got Pincer Brass, and if you remember Rum Diary, it was the stained plywood. So I really like that warm, organic, small bit of movement in the timber, and it just stains up beautifully, and it really gives it that European feel.
Hamish, you've opened your own venues before, you've consulted on other venues. I'd love to know some challenges that you faced opening this venue that you weren't expecting.
Well, there are always challenges. The build was pretty big upstairs because, when we started to take some stuff apart, there were rotten sections behind in the floor, so we had to rip everything up, and it was a bit challenging like that. We probably had to do a bit more work than what we expected. Having said that, we really did keep the budget in the constraints of what we were expecting, which was good. I project manage all my own builds, so I've got a team of chippies, sparkies, plumbers. I bring them together myself, which is I feel comfortable doing it because I've done it quite a few times now. Challenges, staffing has been a challenge. It's interesting. Quite often the team that you open with is not really the team that grows the business. I mean, it happened here. It's happened at every business. So. But we always train, we have good goals, we keep moving forward, and that's the thing with staff. Everyone has to be engaged, everyone has to believe in the concept, you've got to be clear with what the business is, that's the positive momentum going forward.
So Beneath Driver Lane, or BDL as it's colloquially known, has been around for a while now as well. Tell us about what you see for this venue and then the new venue, which is still very fresh moving forward. How do you see them growing?
Beneath Driver Lane has established itself a bit more. I mean, it's 6 years old now. We just had our 6th birthday. Torino is brand new. So, like any new baby, it's finding its feet, and we're continuously working through and working out what the product offering is that works best. We're trying little bits and pieces, and we just keep nimble at this stage. But growth-wise, look, Driver Lane, we're going to continue to focus on our live music offering. Of course, whiskey experiences we're going to be moving into quite a lot more of next year. We're activating the Whiskey Vault, so we're doing that more on a monthly basis to get people in there and to do masterclasses and all these sort of things.
What's your reasoning for that as well? Is there something that you've seen in the market that's making you decide to do more whiskey events, or kind of doubling down on your specialty here? Is there something in particular that is driving that?
Be something to someone, not everything to everyone. We are a whiskey bar, so we double down on that. We leverage our suppliers quite well. We've built the relationships, so it's a fact of continuing to evolve that. We also have a membership program here, so we've got a database of 150 members. That's a really good captive base in which we know for a fact that they are engaged lovers of whiskey, so that's a good base for us to continue to leverage on.
Hamish, like most operators, there are these little things that are so important to you, to them, that you focus on, that you maybe you want to get the detailing right on something, or that light fitting just perfect. What's something that you have really, really wanted to focus your attention on that customers aren't likely to know about?
Anyone who's worked for me knows I am a bit anal retentive about two things, and that is lighting and sound. The ambience and the feeling of the venue is so important. It leads into how comfortable you feel in a venue. I believe if someone wants to leave the venue, there's something, there's a 1%, there's a niggling something, it's a bit annoying, and you're like, oh, we'll just go to the next place. I guess the idea, the whole purpose of doing a good venue is you're trying to fix all those 1%, so the venue is so totally comfortable, you just never want to leave. And I guess that comfort leads into something which it's a bit of a mantra with the staff, that we are part of somebody's experience, we are not their experience. Even though people do come here for the music and other bits and pieces, I want to create a space, I want to create places that people feel truly comfortable, and that is to celebrate the happiest times in their life. It might be to talk about the saddest thing in their life, their mum might be sick or whatever with their best friend, who knows. But if you're truly comfortable in your space, then you have these proper conversations. And that is how hospitality, or how a venue, and how we can connect with someone on that emotional and that emotional level, which I think is very special thing to be able to do.